but all of this put me in a different mindset where I was open to new ideas. And I guess what really changed everything was one day when I was coming back into London on the train, and I happened to sit opposite the guy that recruited me for that job in the first place. And this was somebody who had got, in terms of leadership, had got exactly where I wanted to be. Okay, so this guy was a true leader. Likeable, respectable, hardworking, had got where he'd got because he'd earned it, had the respect of his team, treated his team well, all the things that I wanted to be one day. And exactly what success looks like for me as well is exactly how I thought, that's where I want to be. And so kind of after 20 minutes of just talking to each other about small talk, about what we were doing on our projects and how he was busy, how I was busy, what we were doing. I hadn't actually seen the guy since he'd had this promotion to a director. He's recently promoted into the director of the firm. He was on fast track to be a partner. So I took the opportunity to congratulate him. And looking back at me wasn't the face of somebody that was passionate about their new role. Wasn't the face of someone who kind of enjoyed what they'd become. And so I said to him, I was like, what's the matter? And he said to me, and I'll never forget these words. He said to me, Chris, I know I should be happy. I know I've achieved everything I ever wanted to in my career. I'm a director now. I'm on a fast track to partner. Within the next 18 months, I should be a partner of this firm. I've had a big pay rise. And I was like, but what? And he was like, but despite all of this, I've had to move from my 5-bedroom house in the country with a nice big garden where my kids can play into central London, where I'm living now in a 3-bedroom flat next to the office because I don't have time to commute anymore. I barely see my kids. I'm out of the house in the morning before they're up, and I'm back by the time that they're in bed. I see them on Sundays only, and then I'm so exhausted from the week's work that I don't really have the energy to enjoy them. I'm piling weight on. I'm living off takeaway. I'm piling weight on. I feel like my health's deteriorating. The stress is killing me. And despite the pay rises, despite the extra bonuses, for all the extra stuff that I've had to get, childcare, linen pickup services, takeaways, all this extra stuff that he has to buy, despite the big bonuses and the extra pay rise, he has less money at the end of each month than before he got promoted. And for me, that was just like a holy shit moment. Like, wow. Completely destroyed this illusion of where I wanted to get to. And I guess you could say that's like the ultimate leadership, right? Is recognizing that you've got to a point where you're no longer happy and advising other people based on your own mistakes. I guess like that's ultimate accountability, isn't it? Mm. So yeah, he basically told me that the last 30 to 40 years of his career had got him to a place where he wasn't happy. And I went back into the office that day a bit deflated. And I was like, well, surely it can't be that bad. Like, you're on a 6-figure salary. It can't be that bad. And I started looking around at all the people my age, all the kind of mid-20s, like the young go-getters. And it was depressing. Like everybody was bitching about everyone else behind their back, stabbing each other in the back to get the better projects, to get the promotion, whinging, moaning, complaining. And I had this horrible realization that I was exactly the same. And that if I didn't do something differently, then I would end up, if I was one of the lucky ones, I may end up like this guy that recruited me for the job. I might end up like him, advising the 20-something-year-old that I regretted the last 40 years of my career. And I decided that I needed to do something different. And that's when I got into property. That's when I started educating myself about different property investment strategies and techniques, how to raise finance, how to acquire properties without having to have full deposits and doing cash purchases, how to add value to properties and be able to recycle deposits back out of them. And that's really where it all began for me.
Mm.